The Stoic response to betrayal is loud, even when no one else hears it. Because it doesn't just break trust, it breaks the story you were living inside. The shock is not only what they did, but what it forces you to confront about reality, about people, about yourself. Stoicism never pretended this wouldn't hurt. It simply refused to let pain turn into poison. The Stoics expected betrayal, not from pessimism, but from clarity, because they understood human beings act from fear, hunger, insecurity, and unexamined wounds. This explanation doesn't excuse the harm, but it loosens the grip of personal outrage, and that loosening is where peace begins. Betrayal feels intimate, surgical, intentional, yet most of the time it is clumsy rather than calculated. You weren't singled out. You were collided with. That realization stings, and then it steadies you. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that when someone acts unjustly, the deepest injury is not to the victim, but to the one who must now live with a compromised character. This isn't comfort, it's orientation. Because the real threat after betrayal isn't the wound itself, but what the wound tempts you to become. Bitterness disguises itself as wisdom. Suspicion masquerades as intelligence. Emotional withdrawal feels like safety. Stoicism interrupts this slide gently, asking not how you can protect your feelings, but how you can protect your nature. You are allowed to feel anger without becoming cruel. You are allowed to grieve without becoming small. You are allowed to step back without turning cold. The Stoic response is restraint, not repression. The quiet discipline of refusing to let someone else's failure dictate your inner posture. Epictetus warned that when another person's wrongdoing drags you into hatred, they take something far more valuable than trust. They take your freedom. Distance, then, is not. Revengit is medicine. Boundaries are not walls. They are acts of self-respect, drawn in calm ink. Stoicism does not ask you to keep trusting blindly, nor does it ask you to harden into stone. It asks you to remain intact. Betrayal clarifies. It shows where hope overruled evidence, where desire blurred judgment, where you offered trust without discernment. This is not a moral failure, it is a human one. Wisdom often enters through the exit of illusion. Solitude becomes important here, not the aching kind that spirals, but the quiet kind that settles, where you stop replaying conversations that 1T save you and stop seeking explanations that 1T heal you. Peace does not come from closure. It comes from acceptance, not approval of what happened, but surrender to the fact that it cannot be undone. The Stoic response to betrayal is dignity without performance, strength without spectacle, recovery without bitterness. You do not need to forgive on command, nor trust again on schedule. You simply choose to live well without their involvement.